Okay, so have you ever, like when you're on Google searching for something
Hmm.
and you're like, how did that get to the top?
Yeah, right?
Today, we are going to be doing a deep dive into academicjobs.com and kind of how they've mastered this whole Google search thing,
Hmm.
especially like when it comes to academic jobs.
Right.
And I think this is going to be super useful for our listeners
Yeah, I think so too.
because whether you are somebody who is looking for a job or you work at a university and you manage those career pages, we're going to be talking all about that today.
What's interesting about academicjobs.com, I think, is just how quickly they've risen in the Google rankings.
Right.
SEO, search engine optimization, it's really a long game. It's
Yeah,
a marathon, not a sprint.
for sure.
But they've really made a splash, and that's what piqued our interest.
Yeah, totally. And they actually get really cool example in the source material we were looking at.
Oh,
It
okay.
says, if you go on Google and you search Harvard academic positions, you'll see academicjobs.com often right up there at the top with, Harvard's website.
Wow, that's impressive.
So how do they do that?
Well, they seem to be doing a great job understanding user intent and behavior.
Okay.
They've clearly done their homework. They've figured out what people are actually searching for when they're looking for these academic jobs.
Interesting.
It's not just like professor anymore.
Yeah.
People might be searching for remote faculty positions or postdoc in data science, that kind of thing.
Oh, so it's very specific.
Very specific, yeah.
Got it.
It's all about the keywords.
Okay, so they're not just kind of throwing keywords out there. They're really targeting the
Exactly.
words that people are actually putting into Google.
Exactly, yeah.
So clever.
But, there's a lot more to it than just keywords, right?
Right, I would imagine.
So once they figure out what those keywords are, they need to make sure that they're presenting it in a way
Yeah.
that appeals both to Google,
Okay.
but also to the actual people using the website. Right.
Right, and that's where things like meta titles and descriptions come in.
Okay.
You know how when you search on Google, each result has a title and then have that little blurb underneath it?
Yeah, for sure.
That's the meta title and the meta description.
Gotcha.
And it's almost like, an advertisement for that page.
I see.
So they're not just stuffing keywords in there.
Got it.
They're crafting this really compelling message that will make people want to click.
Okay, so it needs to appeal to the human
Yes.
as well as, the Google algorithm or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And, then once they've got you to the website, they need to keep you engaged on that website.
Okay.
Right. So academicjobs.com, what they do is they use this really clear, well-structured content.
Okay.
And the source material emphasizes how important these things called header 1 tags are.
Okay, I'm not familiar.
So basically think of it as like chapter titles in a book.
Okay.
And it helps both, again, the people using the site and Google to understand the main point of that page. So it's kind of like a multi-layered approach.
Right.
You have the initial hook, like with those meta descriptions, and then you're delivering on that
Exactly.
with really well-organized content.
Yeah.
But now I'm curious about the content itself.
Uh-huh.
The source material mentioned it's, meaningful content. What does that mean?
Well, they're providing value,
Yeah.
right? It's not
Yeah.
just job listings.
Okay.
They're providing these resources for job seekers. So things like articles on how to write a cover letter or how to actually navigate the academic job market.
Oh, interesting.
So that's really valuable, and it keeps people on the site longer,
Oh, right.
which is a really good signal to Google
Yeah.
that this is a valuable website.
So it's win-win. The job seekers getting something out of it, and then academicjobs.com
Exactly.
is also benefiting.
Absolutely.
I see. Okay, well, now I want to talk about these profile pages. This is where it gets interesting for universities.
Yeah, this is really
Nice.
cool.
So tell me about that.
So academicjobs.com, they can actually create these really detailed pages for universities
Yeah.
that are optimized for Google search. So they really focus on presenting all of the information in a way that's both user-friendly,
Okay.
but also search engine friendly,
Gotcha.
which is tough,
Yeah, I can imagine.
So it's not just about having a basic career page
Right.
on your university's website.
It's like having an elevated
It's about crafting that page in a
Yeah,
way that
yeah.
will actually get seen.
by the right people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is where academicjobs.com can really help these universities
Mhm.
attract that top talent.
Yeah.
Because they know how to highlight all the strengths of a university. They showcase its culture
That's cool.
and just make it stand out.
So I can imagine keeping up with Google's algorithms and all that stuff is a full-time job.
Oh, absolutely.
So how does academicjobs.com stay on top of that?
Well, they're really committed to constantly learning
Okay.
and adapting. The source material really emphasizes how they keep up to date with the latest best practices and Google's guidelines. So they're always tweaking things, making sure they're delivering that optimal experience, both for the users and the search engines.
For both. Got it. Okay. Well, let's wrap things up. What are the key takeaways here for our listeners?
I think the main thing is to understand your audience. You know,
Yep.
whether you're a job seeker or a university, just knowing what people are using to find you.
Yeah.
And then second, you want to make sure that your online presence is optimized for both the users and the search engines.
Right.
And that means having that clear, engaging content, those well-structured pages, and those meta descriptions.
Yeah. Yes. And of course, we've been talking about academicjobs.com. This is a great service
Absolutely.
for universities.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they can really help you create like a top-notch online presence that's going to attract the best people.
They're the experts.
They're the experts, exactly.
Yeah.
It makes you think, what are some other factors beyond SEO that can contribute to a good user experience on a job board?
Right.
I mean, could those things indirectly influence the search ranking too?
That's a really interesting question
Yeah,
and something to think about.
definitely.
Well, on that note, I think we're going to wrap up our deep dive on academicjobs.com.
Sounds good.
Hope you enjoyed it,
Thanks for having me.
and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.